welcome to And the Word Became Flesh. I'm your host for this channel, Shara A. Grant. And in this video, I'll be sharing my testimony. Why it is that I'm so passionate about Christ and so passionate about persons getting to know who Jesus is, getting to know that His love can wipe away a multitude of sin. This testimony is the first of many because um, I don't want this channel to be about me. And there are so many other young persons who are living for Christ, who have the same amount of passion. So this testimony is just my first testimony. From time to time, I'll be interacting with my church brethren who I'll ask them to share their different testimony because guess what? Each one of us have different journey. There are some of us that God went way down and rescue us. And there's some of us who, like me, was brought in a Christian home, but was maybe a little bit rebellious. You were forced to go to church, go to Sunday school, but not. I have a deeper appreciation for the scripture now that says, "Train up a child in the way he should grow, that when he's old he should not depart from it." Because even though I was forced to go to Sunday school, little did I know that the seed of Christ and who Christ is was being planted in me, that when I became older, even though I was lost, His presence came and found me. So as I said, I was born in a Christian home. My grandmother, at the time, she was the only Christian. And I really appreciated the fact that Christianity wasn't thrown down on me, but rather her life that she lived was an example of the love of Christ that got me to want to know who Christ was. So I didn't drink as a teen. I didn't smoke as a teen. I think I was more like a Christian living a sinner life. So there are certain things in terms of moral standing that I wouldn't do. But for me, it was the love of my co-workers who were Christians, and I really like to take the opportunity. I know I've told them thanks to Rosie Whiteswell. I remember as a young girl, maybe 10 years ago, working, she could see Christ in me, but I couldn't see it, and she would ask me, "Shara, why you don't give your life to the Lord?" I'm like, many persons is that you say you're waiting until that feeling, you're waiting until God call you, you're waiting until something to happen. But the other part was that I was afraid. I saw so many persons who claimed to be Christians that didn't live right, and I didn't want to be among that group. I didn't want to be among the backslidden group, so I tried to fix me. So I know there was a yearning for Christ, but I tried to see how best I could adjust me to live the Christian life, because what was presented to me of Christianity was that it was this boring thing for old persons, and I'm like, oh my God, my hair would have to no longer be processed. There was so much that I would have to give up. And the truth is, there's a lot of you that you'd have to give up. I've had to give up a lot of me. But one of the things that I'll tell you, what is it that you give up is far less than what it is that you have to gain. The other person that was instrumental in me finding Christ was my aunt. Each time I share my testimony, I always say she tricked me, and tricked me not in the sense where it was deceptive, but her church, our church, Ebenezer Tabernacle, was having what you consider a youth camp over. At the time, it was where you would sleep, you locked down with God from Friday night until Sunday. If you live next door, you can't go. It's just you're on the church compound, and it was all about Christ. My church is in Rockfort, East Kingston. It's a violent community. And at the time, I live near to Rockfort, but I didn't live in Rockfort. And I didn't like Rockfort, to be honest with you, because growing up when I was studying, I couldn't study because violence, upsurge of violence would be from time to time. So when she invited me to the church in Rockfort, I was saying to myself, what is there in Rockfort for me to see you? What is there in Rockfort for me to learn from? But she told me that I could come, and I had a party on a Saturday to go. It was one of my co-workers' birthday party. And I said, all right, I'll come to Friday, but I can't stay for the entire weekend. The trick that and I have to clarify how she tricked me, she didn't tell me, or maybe it was a mission of the truth. She didn't tell me that once I signed up the Friday night, I couldn't leave. To cut a long story short, when I went, it was the first time I saw young persons worshiping God. It wasn't about if your neighbor was praising God. It wasn't about if you looked silly glorifying God. It wasn't about if you look cool just giving God glory. They were just worshiping God. And I'm saying, coming from a Pentecostal church where young persons didn't really worship, it was a sense as if Christianity was for old people. It was refreshing for me. And I remember that was a Friday night. I said, alright, I can't stay till Saturday, but come hell or high water, Saturday me I go to the party, because before I went to that camp over, the enemy had planted a seed in my mind that my aunt wanted to baptize me, and that was the only interest that she had. So in my head, the thought was if she thinks she'll baptize me, she'll make a sad mistake. So nothing that they could have said that weekend would have made me go down in that water. Oh well, God had a different plan for me. The Saturday came, and in come a handsome young man. He was playing the drum. So here I was sitting in church. This guy was ministering to God, and all I was looking at how cute he was, saying that guy really cute. I don't know if he could read my mind. He came down and said to me, why are you running? I knew I was running because the Lord has been calling me from an early age of 12. But the fear that the enemy had planted in me had said that this battle would only be for me, not with God. He showed me all the negative thing as why I shouldn't give my life to God, but it's the devil. He wouldn't show me what would have been the positive. And he anointed my head with oil, and I still didn't surrender my life to God. But the night, oh my God. And that is why I am so passionate about anointed leaders, the evangelist. I don't know her name, and to be honest with you, her name isn't important. What was important was that she was a vessel used by God. When that lady hit the stage, I don't remember anything, but I remember crying out to God. I think the last thing I remember was that she said that she would break all soul ties. And looking back, I was in a 7 years relationship that really wasn't going anywhere. And no matter how I tried to end it, it wouldn't end. And when she said she breaking all ungodly soul tie, I remember crying, weeping, asking God for mercy. And I believe, looking back, that was when the Lord came into my heart. But the fear of totally surrender came in my heart. And even though I went to the altar, like many of you, and been asked the question, are you going to give your life to the Lord? I left saying no. Because that seed was planted that they're not going to baptize me today. They're not going to baptize me tomorrow. They just wanted me to be a number, not realizing that it was the love of God to save me from what to come. And I remember saying no. I walked from the altar, and thank God that I was able to live to go back. And I remember after leaving, it was like something was planted in me. There was just this burning desire. There was just this thought that this was the last time God was going to call me, that I would not get that opportunity. And this is why, for me, this is just my personal opinion. I've been in many church services where we ask persons if they want to be saved, and as leaders and as ministers, sometimes we get a little discouraged when they walk away. But because of my experience, I thank God that the seed that was planted was real. And I know in my heart to heart that many of the time when you walk away from the altar, the seed has been planted. And I remember coming home, because even before I went to church, I used to read my Bible. As I said, I was a Christian living a sinner life, reading the Bible. Every Sunday I would listen to televangelists, so everything has a place. And I think it was Bishop Blair that came on one Sunday morning, and he was talking about the potter. And as I listened to him, I was trying to fix me. I said, all right, God, I'm going to give my life to you. All right, God, I'm going to become a Christian. So when I came back, without telling my aunt, without telling the pastor or anything, I told my boyfriend at the time that I was going to become a Christian, and he made me laugh. He laughed at me because based on the level of intimacy that we had, and based on what held the relationship together, he thought I couldn't do without it. I remember I went to my best friend at the time, Alice, and I mean, I really love her in the sense that she didn't discourage me. I said to her that I was going to give my life to the Lord, and she said, "Shara, you sure you can do it?" And she encouraged me. And at the time, I started to change, try to change me, try to change the things that would come out of my mouth, trying to change how I dress, how I look. But to be honest with you, you can't change you, and it became a struggle because you're trying to do something that only God can do. Because the truth is, if it is that we could change ourselves naturally of ourselves, we would have done it a long time ago. Many of you would not have been in the situation. Many of you would not have had the struggles that you are having now if you could do it of your own. I remember I was watching the TV and he was giving an analogy of this madman that was on the road and a painter was passing and he wanted to capture a homeless man. And he said to the homeless man, "Madman, that could you come to my studio tomorrow morning so I could paint you, so I could capture the essence of who you are." The homeless man, the fact that his picture was going to be on a painting, he decided that he was going to get it shaved up, prettied up, all done up. And the next morning he went to the painter's office, and the painter could not recognize him. And he said, "Who you are?" And he said, "I'm the same man that you saw yesterday, that you said you wanted to paint." And the painter said that, I have no use for you because I can't capture your true sense." And what Bishop Blair was saying is that the potter is the one that knows if you're going to be a cup, if you're going to be a plate. And if you carry you in your true sense, because maybe in your sense you think that, hey, I'm supposed to be a plate, but what God wants is for you to be a vase or a drinking cup. He's going to break up that plate anyway and turn it into what he wanted. And that word hit home. It ministered to me in the sense that I was trying to fix me, not knowing what the plans God have for me. And it makes sense to go back to the author of who we are, the person who wants to make us as so what. And I tell you, I got so convicted from watching that television ministry, that worded connect. And I remember calling my now pastor about 3 or 4 times to be baptized. And I think after 9 he finally gave in because I think he thought I was going to die and he didn't want my blood to be on him. And I tell a person that how I felt that day. It's like I had no choice but to say yes because there was a fire. I mean, when I saw the water, I had no other option but to be in the water because there was just a heat, a presence of the Lord that was upon me. And I thank God, looking back, that I was able to say yes, that he was able, my heart was open and receptive to him, to receive him, that I could be saved. I'm not going to tell you that the road of Christianity is easy. I'd be lying to you to tell you that when you say yes, God, I surrender my all, it's going to be easy, I would be lying. The truth is, we have to remember, if you're not of God, the devil controls you. So he knows all your weakness. So he's going to come at you with full force. But what I tell you is that greater is he that would be in you than any situation, anything that can ever come against you. So as I continue to share my testimony, as I continue to share my journey and other journey, I hope that at some place, at some point in watching the videos, your heart will be open to the voice of the Lord. That you'll be able, when you hear the knock, 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 you'll be able to say, "Lord, I might not know everything about you, but I'm willing to give you a chance. I might not feel worthy of your love, but I'm willing to take the love that you have given unto me. I might not even know who you are, but I'm willing to seek you," because he says if you seek him, you will find him. And I remember after I got saved, oh God, oh Lord, it was as if burdens that I didn't know that I have were just drop. I felt lighter. Um, I felt there was just a glow, there was just a presence, there was just this joy that the joy that we sometimes seek in relationship, the joy that we sometimes seek in other person, God was able to give us, give me. I can tell you, I am a living testimony. And those of you who know me, you know, and you can testify that God has changed who I was then and who I am now. I have seen where the presence of the Lord, oh God, I never know that I could be molded. Even this video, I would not have been doing this because I tell a person that I'm a shy person. I remember when the Lord spoke to me about doing videos instead of writing, I started to show him all the reasons why I shouldn't. You might realize that in terms of the grammar is correct. The posture is correct. You learn that I love to worship, but boy, I can't sing. I mix up the song, but what I've learned over the years is that when you worship God, the presence of the Lord come. So stay tuned for other testimony sharing about the love of the Lord. Have a blessed day.